Good evening, day, morning, awesomes! I'm your host, RCScepter5665, and welcome back to Let's Play the Prototype Game, Part 4, where I do cheats and stuff, because that's totally overrated. Actually, no, it's a lot of fun, and I haven't used any yet, so it's kind of not really a cheat through yet, but it will be eventually. Anyway, in the last couple of episodes, we basically went through a bunch of the story stuff, but now we're actually going to take a detour and do some other stuff that isn't necessarily story-related. Bong! We are going to explore the events, and a bunch of the things that I mistold you about, totally awesomes, in episode 2, called Disembowelment. Basically, what happened in the last couple of episodes, where I was misinforming you, was I basically didn't understand what a lot of these were. Well, I did kind of have a rough idea, but I didn't really understand what they were. Not really. And, I'm going to go through in this episode and basically do one of each mission that I can find of a different variety, depending on how hard or how easy it is going to be. So, first off, I'm also going to explain a couple of other things as well. On upgrades, the misinformation that I had in regards to the vehicles, not so much for the missiles, not so much for the weaponry, but for the vehicles, you actually do need to enter enemy bases at some point during the game, which will be demonstrated in the next episode, probably. You'll need to actually enter into enemy bases and be lucky enough to find soldiers that you can consume that'll give you these upgrades. It's kind of an interesting thing in that regard, but that's basically how that progresses. It's not like these. These, you unlock them, and then you have to buy them afterward. These unlock as you go through the game, normally, but these you actually have to do some base takeover type stuff, which I'll be showing you how to do in a more effective way, despite how hard and challenging this game can be. But anyway, in regards to events and whatnot, the footprint that you see over here is essentially a checkpoint race. And also, I'll explain something else before... Actually, yeah, I just remembered something. Before I get into events, this doohickey over here is the hint sphere that I was talking about. In the last episode, we actually saw some landmark collectibles, which are blue spheres, blue orbs, and hints basically tell you shit that you already know. So you can regenerate health not only by hiding away from enemies in combat, but also by consuming people, though there is an achievement if you do not consume any civilians and just keep your consuming to either infected or military personnel. Keep it to those and you should be okay for that achievement if you're getting it. I think it's called like Nice Guy or something like that. Just don't consume anybody. Anyway, let's continue on to the events. So the first one is a foot race where you literally just try and like get through stuff as fast as you possibly can, which we'll give it a shot. So, as you can see on the left, it tells you different goals that you can achieve. Bronze, silver, and gold. Ideally, you want to go for gold. And it also gives you your best times and whatnot, which you can also track in the events panel on the main screen. So, essentially, get to these as fast as you possibly can. And try not to fail too miserably at it, although this is it depends on the type of event that you're doing, because events can actually change the circumstances of which they might have the same icon and they might be the same category, but they actually have different requirements for you in order to actually complete some of the things that they want you to complete. And now you gotta go all the way back down, which is basically where I do this kind of a thing. A Sun Smash! And I didn't even get a gold medal on that one. Not that that matters. I'm just showing you what this is like. I'm not trying to focus on getting any like huge, massive, amazing skills. I'm just trying to show you what they're basically like. So that was a foot race type thing. Others are more checkpoint oriented. I could actually play the events that I've already done. Actually, I think I might do that because I'm actually familiar with them. The only thing that I can't do again is this event over here, which is called a military consume event, where I don't believe that happened, but there you go. I refuse to accept it. You come over here and you consume this guy and it starts your event. And basically what it does is it asks you to find certain like requirements where you actually have to look for certain people and consume enough of them to reveal certain people's locations and stuff like that. And you get different bonuses depending on how you consume them and how fast you get things done. So let's just quickly head over there. I'm not too worried about, as I say, getting like the best time or anything like that. I'm just trying to show you how it works. For the other missions that I have done, though, I will try and go for something good. But as I say, I'm just trying to show you what it's like more than just try and prove my awesome skill to you. But a lot of these events are quite a lot of fun. You can do these whenever the hell you feel like it to give yourself a little bit of a break from the main story. And, yeah. Alright, they should be in this little plaza. Let's see if I can... The ones with the DNA strands you'll want to grab and consume. Just like that. Let's see if we can grab this guy. Come here, you. I'm not done with you yet. Not quite, but that's... Oh, no! Ah, whatever. I failed it. Oh, well, yeah, I failed it. Well, kind of. Whoops. Still, whatever. So that's essentially a military consume event. The harder they get, the more scientists you'll have to consume eventually. That's kind of how that works. But yeah. So I'm gonna do another foot race, and this is actually essentially a checkpoint-based one.
We've lost two. Squad 443, recon south.
And the best thing that I can really recommend with doing any foot race type stuff to increase your speed is to make use of the quick boosting that you can do, which, as you can see, I'm doing quite a lot of. Because it actually depends on the direction and the momentum in which you're going. So if you're jumping up, for instance, and you boost while you're going up, you'll boost upward and help increase your height a bit more, which is why I'm able to jump so high up when coming off buildings and whatnot, like that kind of a thing. So then when I'm heading down a little more, I can boost straight down and get a little bit more lift to get to where I want to go in that regard. Really, it just takes a bit of practice in getting the feel for it. Getting a feel for it rather than really thinking about it too much is really just the only thing that I can really recommend for you. And it takes a bit of practice to get used to it. And, of course, you won't have these abilities right off the bat in the game either. Being able to glide like that, that comes a little bit later. But definitely try and practice getting in on these the best that you can. I actually don't even think at the beginning of the game, at this point, playing the game normally, you'd even have access to events anyway. So it'll give you a chance to build up your upgrades before you do anything. And you just saw there on the mini-map that little head icon. That was a Web of Intrigue target. And during events and missions and stuff like that, I go for them if I can, but for a lot of cases... There's another one. I usually just ignore them, though, because they're not really that important to me. As I say, if you want to go for them, go ahead. But when you're trying to do events and stuff, they pop up at the worst possible times. But if you're doing an event and something like that, and you don't mind failing the event or getting a low ranking on it, just feel free to go and, stop by and try and, consume a Web of Intrigue target to learn more about the truth of what the Blacklight virus is and whatnot, because that's actually what it does. It goes into, the Web of Intrigue essentially goes into Alex Mercer's backstory, a wide variety of other things as well, and I'm probably going to fail this. Am I going to fail? No, there's two minutes, and there's a landmark collectible right there, which I'll grab. Not bad. I beat my time. No new medal awarded, because I already got a gold one. Another landmark collectible. Alright, so that was essentially that one. Let's see, what is else is over here? Ah, there's an event over here. This one is a little challenging to do because it's kind of odd in a way and requires a lot of patience. This is called a war event. And war events are essentially where you take a side between the infected or the military and have to help the either side win. So in this case, we actually have to use a rocket launcher in order to be able to help the military fight the infected. And that's actually kind of easy in this regard. Certain missions are actually really stupid. In that, wow! The infected like to be stupid. And as you can see, on the upper right gives you the indicator of it. These infected are like, I'm just gonna defy the laws of physics entirely and just, God, this is pretty stupid. Anyway, Essentially, as you can see on the upper right, it gives you an indicator on how well the force is doing, whether it's the military who's winning or if it's the infected that's winning. Ideally, you want to make sure that your military or the side that you're fighting on doesn't reach 0, because if it does, you kind of sort of die and fail the mission. Ow, my butt. Ow, his butt. That hurt him a lot. It hurt me a lot, too. Let me just kill your butts. Zeus is mobile. I'm helping you. Jeez, can't you? Whoop. Well, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Now we're on even playing grounds, folks. Well, near enough. Stop doing that! Why you do that to me? You're so mean. Are you sure? We're winning by 1. Oh, we're winning by 2. Oh, we're winning by 3. These can get pretty chaotic and hectic when you're actually playing them in a way that isn't necessarily like using weapons like this. If you're fighting for the infected, things can get pretty freaking intense. They say that even when they have like 3 people left. It's pretty absurd. He just kicked a guy out of like... See if I can do what those guys were doing, because they seem to be like running up the thing and then like flipping everywhere, and it's funny looking. I can't do it the way they're doing it. The way they do it is a little too awkward for me. But essentially, this is basically what a war is like. I'm kind of glad it's over now, near enough. These can take forever. And you get a medal based on how fast you can eliminate the enemy forces. Not so much about how many people are remaining. Ideally, the more that are left, the better. But if you just can't seem to keep any of them alive, well, you should rethink your priorities. And try and sort of get better at the game. But yeah, as you can see, I did a lot better when I did this the first time. Not that it matters, I'm just trying to show these off to you. As I say, when you fight for the infected, it actually gets a lot more interesting than as you saw there. So, that's kind of that. Now these are kill events. I'll also consume a Web of Intrigue target just to show you how that works. It's pretty much self-explanatory because you've done this in the story already, but these guys are just optional that you can go and kill.
What were we keeping from them? Everything.
Go on.
This source. It's the key to genetics, but it's also a machine, churning out the worst viruses ever seen. Things that, if they got out of the lab, could literally erase human civilization as we know it.
And how did that make you feel?
I wasn't paid to feel.
That can be said for pretty much every doctor in existence. Honest to God. Stop honking! Anyway, so I'm going to continue up with 2 more of the events. This part's going to be extended a bit because of just due to the nature of things. This one is a pain. Basically, you have to kill as many opponents as you can within the given time limit. And if you can't, well, yeah. Now, the thing with this is that it highlights a certain group of enemies for you to kill. But, as long as it's an infected, you can kill it. So that means these guys here aren't marked. Yet you can kill them and it still counts anyway. Now, since it's asking you to use claws, using its ability like that is actually your best bet. And getting into a more heavily populated area is a little bit more of an ideal thing to try and do because it lets you kill more with less effort. That wasn't really what I was trying to do, but yeah, it basically asks you to kill 80 people. 80 infected in just under a minute. And I'm kind of getting there, but you need to really make sure you're in a fairly heavily populated area to do this. With enough success that you're gonna be okay. I need to just kill one more. And I killed a bunch more. See if I beat my record in the time limit. That'd be funny. Well, I did. See if I can beat 100. Nope. Probably not. There's actually an event similar to that where you have to kill over 120 different infected, and that one in particular is a bit of a pain. I will say that much. And then they just disappear. As you can see, there's another military consume event over there. I'm going to look for one of those sky jumping missions, where basically what you have to do is you have to jump from a really high point and land at a certain point of the target. And the closer you can get to the center of the target, the higher your points will be. And obviously, the better the medal you'll get. So I'm going to just look around to see if I can find one. There should be one around here. There's another Web of Intrigue target, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just trying to think of where one might be. I could check the map, but I'm feeling a little bit... there's another landmark collectible. Basically, to find those, just explore. Basically, I can't really recommend anything else to you. Just explore a bit and see what you can find. There also are some other missions that I don't think I've done yet, actually. Oh, there's one. All the way across from this one. This one actually might be a little more challenging because I haven't done this one. Who knows? I don't. Oh, there's two. There's also another event that has like a biohazard symbol on it, and as I say, I don't actually know what that one is. I might have done one, but I can't remember exactly what it was that I was supposed to do. But anyway, let's show you what this is like. Wrong side of the tracks. Glide towards the target and land as close as possible. So within 5 meters, you get a gold medal. Da-da-da-da. Ah, yeah. Right, that one's kind of challenging. Let's try this. Yeah! And I just love how the traffic stops and then continues and then slows down and then continues again. Holy mother of poop. So as you can see, those get kind of challenging. Ooh, a hint! Really, bro? You didn't come to me, bro? Oh my god, what? You can purchase upgrades. Oh, wow, really? Alright, so I'm just going to look on my map to see if there is a biohazard one nearby, and that's the last one I'll do. No, there aren't. Biohazard ones don't become available until a little while later, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So that's essentially your recap for all of the events and whatnot that you can partake in at the moment during the game. You can keep a track of all your statistics and the medals that you've got throughout the different categories throughout as you go, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, as you can see, there's some grayed out because they aren't available to me to do yet, and as you can see, medium and hard, those basically ask you to consume a certain number of people, and the higher the difficulty, the more people you have to consume, and the more places you have to go to, because there are more groups of enemies stationed throughout the area. But anyway, I've been your host, RC-Scepter5665. I will see you guys back in the next episode where we actually continue on with the story stuff again. Because that was what all of you wanted, right? Anyway, I'll see you guys back in the next episode. Bye!